Hey YouTube, welcome to Trevor's Vinyl World. Today I want to talk about way back in July of 1993. I would have been about 14 years old, and my mom and dad took me on a family reunion trip where we drove from Minnesota to South Dakota. I was not looking forward to this at all. I just thought it was going to be boring. We were going there to meet a lot of cousins and family members on my mom's side, but people that I never really met before, like distant cousins. And honestly, at the time, I was a teenager. I just would have rather been home, playing at home, I guess. And plus, I thought it was going to be uncomfortable because we were going with my grandma, and my grandma had a new boyfriend, and well, she'd had him for a little bit, but basically I was gonna meet her boyfriend's grandson for the first time, and he was coming with on the trip along with him and everything. But you know how when you're like a teenager and you kind of have your friends and I don't know, I just wasn't in the mood to like make a new friend and whatever. But anyways, so we get going on the trip, and instantly me and him bond, and we basically bonded over hip hop because at the time I was already like, I had heard of Dr. Dre, Young MC, LL Cool J, you know, so I knew about hip hop, and I brought like a Walkman, and he also had some headphones, and he had a tape from Cypress Hill, and it was Cypress Hill Black Sunday. And the more I think about it, it was probably a CD, but for some reason I just think like there's a chance that it was a tape. But anyways, I had never heard of Cypress Hill, and and this is back when, like, you know, you could give, like, he had the headphones separated, so he gave me one muffled ear piece, and it's got wires, and then he's got the other half of it. So we're in the back of the car, and you know, I'm listening in my ear, and he gets one ear, and it's Cypress Hill's Black Sunday album, and I'm just blown away. Like, I never heard like Latino rappers, and they're, you know, just talking about wanting to get high and insane in the membrane. And honestly, I didn't even know what marijuana was. Like, at the age of 14, I knew about beer, I knew about cigarettes. I had no concept whatsoever of marijuana, but I just loved the artwork, the voice of Be Real. I loved the DJ. I liked everything about Cypress Hill. DJ Muggs. Yeah, it was Be Real, and then you had Send Dog, and you had DJ Muggs, and then after 93 is when they had another guy join the group, Eric. I think it's Eric Correa. But anyways, this was July of 93, and when we would stop at like a hotel a couple different times throughout the trip, we would turn it right to MTV, and Insane in the Membrane had a music video at the time, and it was just really cool. It was like a live concert footage, or, you know, it was set up to look like a concert, and just very psychedelic looking, and just, I'd never seen anything like it before. But it was just so cool how we bonded over that. And, you know, like, I just loved the whole album. And then what I'd like to get is there's a 30th anniversary expanded edition of this album that has like special versions of Insane in the Brain. It's got one version that's all in Spanish. There's also a different remix version of Lick a Shot. There's a special remix version of Hits from the Bong. There's a song called Scooby-Doo. So I would like to get that. But no, I just, this was like my introductory to Cypress Hill during this trip. And it's honestly the only thing I remember about the trip is that, you know, I became this huge Cypress Hill fan, even though, you know, I'm not Latino. But it just really registered with me at the time. And I really think that if hip-hop wouldn't have been so good in the early 90s, that maybe I wouldn't have became a hip-hop head. I do listen to a lot of different genres of music and a lot of hair metal, but I definitely listen to hip-hop. And but I think part of it is because in the 90s it was just so good, and I think that really helped. And then after this trip, I went to Best Buy, and see, back then there was no internet, so I didn't even know that Cypress Hill had an album before Black Sunday. But basically 2 years before this, they had released their self-titled album. So I picked that up from Best Buy. And if it was a little longer, I would say that my favorite Cypress Hill song is actually Pigs. But it's just not really long enough. But I just love that song. And and obviously Pigs, they're talking about cops, and I'm not anti-cop, but I definitely just find it like really funny. And you know, you got to remember too, this was a different time period. There were no body cameras, and cops, you know, really had it in for gangbangers. And I'm sure Latinos were treated really bad in, like, you know, parts of LA, and you know, like NWA would talk about how bad the police were. But anyways, like this song Pigs that's on their first album, what's his name? Be Real is just like his voice, where he's just like, you know, this pig harassed the whole neighborhood. Well, this pig worked at the station. This pig, he killed my homeboy, so the fucking pig went on a vacation. This pig, he is the chief. Got a brother pig, Captain O'Malley. He's got a son that's a pig too. He's collecting payoffs from a dark alley. I just love that song, and I love how there's like you hear like the radios in the background where the cops are talking, and you got DJ Muggs with this like bloop bloop. I really wish that song was like 6 minutes long. And obviously Insane in the Membrane from Black Sunday. The whole Black Sunday album I love. Especially the first, you know, 6 songs or so. Those two, the Black Sunday album from, you know, when I went on this trip, and then discovering their first self-titled album, those two just always have a place in my heart. Being a young teenager, getting into hip-hop. But anyways, I'll talk more about Cypress Hill in the future. I hope everyone is doing well. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. Talk to you later. Bye.